Once the two bearing races are in place, the next step is to properly grease the wheel bearings before putting them in the hub. A set of disposable latex gloves is definitely very handy when it comes to doing this job. Also use a good quality wheel bearing grease. There are special grease packing tools available to make this job quicker and easier. I decided to do it the old school way. Put some grease on the palm of your glove and using the larger side of the tapered bearing, work the grease into the bearing by squeezing it against your palm. Work your way around the bearing. Next, flip the bearing over doing the small side. Do the same thing and you'll notice grease being pushed up through the bottom of the bearing. Once you get grease being pushed up, you can move on to the next section until the entire bearing has got grease being pushed out of it. With the bearings greased, coat the bearing races and the inside of the hub with a smear of grease to stop any moisture or corrosion. There is no need to fill the hub with grease as it needs to be in the bearings. Install the rear bearing first, as you also need to install the new rear seal. Give the seal lip a light smear of wheel bearing grease. I carefully drove it in with a flat piece of timber, though using a bearing race and seal driver set is also a very good alternative. With the bearings installed, now you can reinstall the hub. Clean the old grease off the spindle and lightly regrease it with bearing grease before putting it on. Take care not to damage or pinch the rear seal. Bearings need to be adjusted or seated correctly, and all vehicle workshop manuals will have various specifications or techniques to do this. I use the wheel bearing replacement tech tips for medium duty vehicles produced by Timken Bearings. The steps are: use a torque wrench to tighten the adjusting nut to 50 foot-pounds while rotating the hub. Then back off the adjusting nut one full turn. Then re-torque the nut to 10 foot-pounds while turning the hub. Next, back off the adjusting nut quarter of a turn. Lock the nut with a new split pin. All that is left to do is put back on the cover cap which stops dirt and dust from getting into the bearings. I used a piece of wood as they are easy to dent and damage.